Hey guys, great to see you, and I'm super excited to show you about a microcontroller that I've been working with, the Particle Photon. So in this 5-minute video, I'm going to show you a tutorial of how to actually set this up, how to get up and running, create an account, use the app that's provided by Particle, and then how to do a few things such as interacting with inputs and outputs, and working with the Particle IDE. Before you guys begin the setup process, you have to configure the particle to be in setup mode by holding in the setup button on the particle right next to the reset button until you see a blue blinking light. Next, you want to make your way to the App Store or the Google Play Market and download the Particle Photon app for configuration. Once you've downloaded the app, open it, and then you'll be greeted by actually an empty list. This account already has some photons on it. Select a photon, click ready once you're in setup mode as I specified, and now you're going to want to make your way to the Wi-Fi settings. Connect to the Wi-Fi network that's generated by your photon. Go back to the app. It'll detect that you're connected to your photon. And then once that's done, you can select your Wi-Fi network. Remember, if you're using the CMU Wi-Fi network, that actually requires setup on NetReg. I'll put more details in the assignment about how to do that, and feel free to reach out to me on Piazza if you have any issues with this. And yeah, it takes a few seconds sometimes to connect. It verifies you're connected to the internet, and now you're good. You can name your device whatever creative name you can imagine, and then you can get rolling. If you've done this correctly, you'll actually see the device now listed in your list of devices. And once that success message is gone, you can see there's a blue light right next to it. And now we can play around with the Tinker app. The Tinker app allows us to use different inputs and outputs and actually play around with devices without actually creating a program. So you can see that I set that pin high and I read a pin low. And you can actually go and you can see different things about the devices. And yeah, so now what we're going to do is we're going to set up a test application. I created a new application at particle.io. You'll notice it looks just like an Arduino application. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an LED pin. So I'm going to set that pin to be digital 0. In setup now I have to actually set the mode of it to be an output. And then now in my loop, I can configure it to toggle or do whatever I want with it. So now I'm going to digital write to it. I'm going to write high to turn on the LED. And then I'm going to use particle's delay function to delay 1 second. And then I'm going to toggle the LED off. And then by adding delays between these, what we can actually do is we can use the loop function to continuously call this. Think of this as a while one loop. And now here you can see the LED is toggling just as I mentioned. It's toggling on and off at a delay of 1 second. So now we're going to make this more interesting. Let's add a potentiometer in, and I'm going to add that to an analog input. You'll notice I actually for the future turn the LED pin to an analog output. You'll see in a minute why I did that. So I'm going to configure this potentiometer as an input. I'm going to remove all those delays. We don't need those for now. And now I'm going to analog read from that pin. But just calling analog read isn't going to do anything meaningful. We actually need to declare a new integer to actually store the value from analog read. So I'm just going to set that equal to potval. But wait a minute, this isn't really going to do anything for us either. We need to actually print this somehow. So we can do this using serial. So there's actually a serial library that allows us to communicate over serial with our computer. Type in serial.begin, set the baud rate to 9600, that's just pretty default. And then we can print this pot value. And also you'll want to add a new line print just to make things look cleaner, or else it's going to print everything on one line. I'm going to flash this, and success. So now let's open CoolTerm. You can use CoolTerm, PuTTY, Screen, whatever platform you want to use. The important thing is that you select the USB modem device, baud rate of 9600, 8 data bits, no parity, and 1 stop bit. Once you've verified this is good, you can click connect, and your device is now connected over serial to your computer. Now what you're going to see is that when I start turning this potentiometer, the values on the screen are going to change, and that's the values from the ADC that we're reading in from the analog voltage in that analog pin. So using the ADC, we can essentially go and convert a continuous wave of a different variable voltage to an integer, which we'll be using in the future. So now let's actually do something more interesting with this. Let's actually control our LED's brightness with this, and you can think of this as like a dimmer. So what we're going to do is, it's really simple, just analog write, LED pin, and then pod val. And once I flash this, it's going to be really cool. You're actually going to have your own homemade dimmer. So there you go. Now you can dim and brighten the LED just by twisting the potentiometer. And this is how a light dimmer would essentially work. Cool, so I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope it was helpful. Leave comments in the Piazza, and please ask any questions you may have in the Piazza. I'm going to be posting my office hours soon, and I hope that you guys enjoy this project. I'm super pumped for this project, and I look forward to working with you.